Hey, so welcome back to another learning session, and I thought maybe we would learn about the mitzvah of Sukkah. We'll skip Yom Kippur, and we'll go on to Sukkah. Maybe next year we'll do some Yom Kippur Torah. Torah tells us about the mitzvah of Sukkah. By Sukkos Teshvu Shivas Yamim, the Jewish people should dwell in Sukkos for 7 days. Kol ha'ezach b'Yisrael yeshu b'Sukkos. Why? So that the generations shall know. Ki basukos hoshafti es b'nei Yisrael, because in booths, well, we'll see, it might be referred to the clouds of glory, but literally Sukkos means Sukkos, right? Booths, huts. Hoshafti es b'nei Yisrael, Hashem is speaking, I had them dwell in booths, when I took them out of Egypt, I am the Lord your God. And Moshe spoke about the Yom Tovim, the holidays, to the Jewish people. So both Targum Onkelos, okay? Anybody know who Onkelos is?
Yeah, heard of him.
Uncle Lewis? Anybody have Uncle Lewis?
I know Aunt Marsha.
Ah, very nice. Okay. Moshe. Okay. You have to be older to get that reference. So, both Onkelos and... Did you get that reference?
Aunt Marsha.
Moshe. No, okay. For another time, I'll explain it to you. He usually gets most of my...
What, because I'm older than everybody else?
No, because you get most of my references usually.
Fine.
Okay, not that there's anything wrong with that. Okay.
It's
not for that's what I'm saying. He gets all the Seinfeld references, but this one he didn't get because it's from a different show. Okay, Marsha. So both Onkelos and Rashi both say, but Sukkos Hoshafti is a reference to the Anani HaKavod, to the clouds of glory, not the literally huts, but the clouds of glory, the Anani HaKavod that encamped the Jewish people when they were in the wilderness from Egypt to receive the Torah on Mount Sinai. So that's a little bit of an introduction to the mitzvah of Sukkah. Now there is another opinion, and that is not a reference to the Anan HaKavod, but it's a reference to the Sukkos. Now why are we discussing this? What's the difference? It's a mitzvah. You're supposed to make a sukkah, sit in a sukkah. Why are we spending time discussing whether or not it's a remembrance for the Anan HaKavod or the Sukkos Mamish? Doesn't really make a difference in halacha. Halacha is still the same. If you look in Shulchan Aruch, there's a myriad of laws. How many walls, about the schach, and all these laws. But it doesn't really make a difference. But obviously it does make a difference. So what is it? So let's discuss. What would be the halachic nafkamina, whether or not when we make sukkahs, if it's for a remembrance of the Anan HaKavod or for the Sukkos Mamish. Anybody want to take a stab at this?
Could be possibly in the bracha itself, maybe.
The bracha is still the same.
Maybe your kavanah has to be.
Very good. So we're going to discuss that, Mr. Hashem, in a few minutes. But very good. That's what I'm looking for. The bracha is still the same. Okay. Still, what bracha do you make? Leishev b'sukkah. Sukkah doesn't make a difference whether or not it's Anan HaKavod. Oh, you mean? Oh, I hear what he's saying. Could be maybe the sheet that holds that's Anan HaKavod maybe would say Leishev b'Anan HaKavod, but not really. First of all, we paskin that is Anan HaKavod, and we do make Leishev b'sukkah. Yeah. And also, it's not really true. You couldn't make that bracha Leishev b'Anan HaKavod because it's not true. The Torah says Leishev b'sukkah. I mean, the Torah says b'sukkos teshvu. Doesn't say Anan HaKavod. We're not discussing what we make now. We can't make a replica of the Anan HaKavod. We can only, we make a sukkah as a reminder of the Anan HaKavod. Yeah. Now that we're on the subject, I was learning this on Shabbos, and I came up with my own question. I don't really understand B'chlal, the shita. I mean, we make booths. What does that have to do with the Anan HaKavod? Anan HaKavod. Okay, so why do we make booths?
Because weren't they in booths?
They were in booths, but that sheet that holds that Sukkot is for Zecher and Anan HaKavod. Nothing to do with booths. I hear Max's, not Max, this would be Mordechai, right? Okay, I hear Mordechai's answer that You hear his answer? You hear the kasha, first of all?
heard the question.
Question was, I don't really understand, but well, I asked a few guys that don't call, and I guess I asked the wrong guys because nobody gave me a good satisfactory answer. What does that have to do with anything? They're not covered. So Max is well, you can't make the not covered. I know, but why do you make a sukkah? How about you? I like your answer. Well, at least you try to do something. And there is another opinion that a sukkah is mamish. So at least we make a sukkah, although that sheet of Rabbi Kiva doesn't Rabbi Eliezer doesn't hold to that. But at least we make a sukkah as the model to be a remembrance of the Nana Gavin. That's your answer, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think, Max? Interesting answer. Although we don't pass him like that, he holds you still make a sukkah because that's at least what they were.
Otherwise, just a campfire.
Right. Torah says, but Sukkos. So you make a hut. Although you have in mind the nana covered. You can't make the nana covered. So what?
Trying to figure out the reason why we're making the sukkah. Is that the idea over here? So like the reason why.
1 second. So I just want to clarify. I just want to finish up Max's answer. So we make the sukkah as the model, as the replica for the nana covered. Why? It's not a nana covered. Well, because at least the other shita held it was sukkah's mamish. The Torah says sukkah, so we make a sukkah as a reminder of the nana covered. Okay, Shmuel.
Yes.
What do you say?
I'm still trying to figure out what the problem is.
Oh, what I was asking before was on the shita that sukkah is a remembrance of the nana covered, Max. Why would you make a sukkah? What does a sukkah have to do with the nana covered? If you hold the sukkah's mamish, so we make a sukkah. The zeicher the sukkah's mamish. They sat in booths. We sit in booths. But if it's a remembrance of the clouds of glory, so why do we make a sukkah? What does a sukkah have to do with the clouds of glory? It's a very simple question. It's not a lumdisher kivega exercise. I'm just asking a simple question.
What would you do for that?
So that was one possibility that Max said. Well, what are you going to do? Not Max. You are Max. I'm really doing good today. David, right? Okay, no, that's the father. I knew it wasn't the father.
That's the one that started the show.
Okay. Now, your brother said that answer. Very good. See, the Lansmans think alike. They look alike, and they think alike too. Now, what else are you going to do? There's no way to make a cloud of glory, right? Okay, so why sukkah?
What else? Yeah, exactly.
Whoa,
What else are they supposed to do? It's like Pesach. They eat matzah.
No, we eat matzah on Pesach. First of all, because the Torah says they eat matzah. But because the zecher, either because we ate matzah in Egypt, that's what they fed us, or because, as you know, as it says in the Torah, when they left so quick, they didn't even have enough time for the dough to rise. That makes sense. We eat something that resembles what happened then.
Like Hanukkah.
So this is what
You
you're
replicate
supposed to do.
Hanukkah, lit the menorah.
Yeah,
lit the menorah.
right, very good. But if it's a nanya covered, what does the sukkah have to do with the nanya covered?
Hashem Shekhinah is in the sukkah.
That's very nice. You're already saying a nice answer. No, you're already saying nice Torah. That we make the sukkah and all this nice stuff, but that comes afterwards. Meaning the symbolisms in the sukkah. Say Meridas Teva, and you go V'shem Meridas Arai, and all that are very nice stuff. But that really comes afterwards. Why is the sukkah a replica of the Nana cover? That's what we're trying to understand. That was the thing. I hear what you're saying. You're saying that all these symbolisms, I'm saying they come afterwards. No, that was the idea. That was Rabbi Kiva's or Rabbi Elazar, the shita, Rabbi Elazar shita, is all these halaga ideas that you say in the Shem Yichud, that the sukkah is a replica of the Beis Hamikdash and of the what'd you say? A place for the Shechina and all these very nice holy things. Okay. So we answered that question. But the main thing that I was getting before, this was a side point, was the reason why you have to have in mind, the reason why we're making a big deal about whether or not sukkah is the zecher, the nana cover, or the zecher, sukkah's mamish, is because what do you have in mind when you're in the sukkah? When you make the bracha, leishib sukkah, and when you sing in the sukkah, Mitzvah Sukkos Kavana, we paskin that really, Be'etzem L'chachila, Mitzvah Sukkos Kavana. When you do a mitzvah, you have to have Kavana. So what Kavana do you have to have? Is it just the Kavana I'm doing a mitzvah? Or maybe that's not enough. You're supposed to have in mind the idea behind the mitzvah. I'm not just eating matzah because the Torah says to eat matzah, it's mitzvah to eat matzah. But why do I have a matzah? What's the symbolism? Do you have to have that in mind? Or is it just enough? Torah says eat matzah, I'm eating matzah, Rabbi, leave me alone. Or, okay, so that's a matzah example. So by sukkah, which kavanah do you have to have? Is it just enough that, hey, Torah said, eat in the sukkah, I'm eating in the sukkah? Or no, you have to have in mind what the sukkah represents. So l'chachila, okay. So we're going to see the different parts of Mitzvah Hashem in the next class. But definitely, l'chachila, the best way is to have in mind not just that you're sitting in the sukkah because the Torah said to sit in the sukkah, but you're supposed to have in mind the symbolisms and the ideas and the reasons why the Torah said to sit in the sukkah, and all these kavanas you're supposed to have in mind. So that's why we should know the halacha. How do we paskin? Do we paskin that sukkah is for Sukkos Mamish, for the booths, the huts that they sat in when they left Egypt on the way to Eretz Yisrael, or they're not covered the clouds of glory, or maybe it's both. It's another possibility. I just thought of that. Yeah. Why do we have one or the other? Maybe it's both. Yeah. Okay. Shmuel, where are we up to? Is that 10 minutes?
Probably.
11 minutes.
11 minutes. Okay. So this was the first segment of our Hilchos Sukkah series. Stay tuned for part 2.